Happy New Year, everyone. We are off to a great start with all this lovely snow. But we're flexible, we'll adjust, and luckily we're a hybrid class, so we don't need to worry about makeup days because we will be flip-flopping the schedule. I have updated the syllabus, so make sure you just take a look. The only change I did was Class 8 was going to be online. We will do Class 8 in class. That's the final exam. So tonight is a hybrid online. Next week we will still follow in the syllabus and we'll be on track. It'll be online also. So I won't see you until week 3. But for those of you that have had me in classes before, you know I like to do videos to stay in touch and to help just reinforce what we've got going on. So updated syllabus, make the note. The only changes again where tonight is online. Week 8 will now be a seated class. All right, let's just take a look what we've got going on real quick. If you don't have your books, these are the 2 textbooks. If you have not bought them, and I understand textbooks are expensive, just focus on this one with the white one, the white cover. Just focus on that. This one has supplemental readings that go with this, and we will be using them. But with the internet, you'll be fine. This is my second time teaching this course. I really enjoyed it. It was the first class I taught in Little Washington with Wesleyan. And we had I want to say a great time because social psych, we see things from so many different viewpoints because of our backgrounds, our life experiences, our culture, our belief systems. So keep a very open mind. You know, I'm always stressing that, open mind, as we go through this. I just want to make sure, again, coursework, so you know how to navigate. Click on coursework. Move me up here. You can see this is my view. Yours is probably very similar. I've opened up week 1. It's due on Saturday. But tomorrow you'll see week 2 will open because I already have everything set up, but we'll be fine. I'm giving you ample time. The online weeks will close at Saturday at the end of the week. And they'll always open after we had our seated class. So that's why you'll see this one opens tomorrow because we were going to be seated tonight. But we'll adjust. Now, let me pull another screen over here. I've added this document, and I'll send it out in an announcement too. These are some of the key terms I want you to focus on. If we were in class, you would see these on the board. Social psychology, what is it? Social influence, hindsight bias. You know, I'm looking down at my book. None of these are new. These are things you've learned in all your other psych courses. We're just taking them to a much deeper level. And I do want to stress, this is a writing intensive class, meaning we're going to be doing a lot of writing. So don't get angry at me. This is to fulfill requirements that the school must meet to maintain certification, that type of thing. So hindsight bias is over on page 7. You know, that's the one where we look at things that have happened in history or that have happened. Oh, I hate that little thing. And we say, I knew that. I knew that all along. As we look at some of the you watch some of the videos, and we look at things in history with, you know, we started out, the text talks about Stanley Milgram's shock therapy. We look at Stanford Benes and Bardo's prison study. We think about things like Jonestown, the Challenger. I was around. I was a young corporal in El Toro watching the Challenger explode on television at lunchtime with all my fellow Marines, and we're all just dumbfounded and looked around at each other like, did that just happen? And we were like, absolutely shocked. You know, that's one of those moments I will always remember. 9/11. Jonestown, I remember because I was still in high school and we followed that. And I remember it just being everywhere. And of course, this was before cable TV, before the internet, way back then. And it, you know, so that's one that stuck with me. So we'll look at, you know, how did these things happen? When you look at Abu Ghraib, the over in, gosh, I forgot, is it Afghanistan or Iraq, the prison with the Army reservists. And we look at, to me, when it all hit the news, I had just retired and I'm thinking, well, why are we surprised? We had Zimbardo's prison study, people conform, which we get into the conformity, the groupthink, self-esteem, compliance. Why do people follow the masses? Why do they follow the band? You know, as my mom would say, jump on the bandwagon. Why do they do these things when we know from past that they lead us into trouble? They're no good. Stop it. So we'll look at compliance, identification. You know, what do we identify with these charismatic people? Internalization, what's going on internally with this? Secondary gain, obedience. I'm very obedient. And when we look at the Milgram shock therapy, I've watched different videos and I show that in various, you know, Gen Psych, we watch it and then we'll watch it again in research methods quite often. And I ask students, would you continue? Well, with the shock experiment, Milgram's, they were paid up front. They signed. I know how I was raised. Iowa farm girl, strict Catholic, very obedient. You don't, you know, if mom and dad said no, you didn't argue. You didn't question. You just like, okay. So I know, as bad as it sounds, I would just be shock, shock, shock. You're wrong. And yeah, I'm sure I would look over and that person, remember in those videos, he's like, he tilts his glasses and he says, the experiment must continue. I know that would intimidate me, that fear of authority. And I, again, would ching, ching, diffusion of responsibility is in there because he told me to. I'm just doing what I'm told. We see that a lot with these things that have happened. Just doing what I've been told to do. So, and then we got the bystander effect. Great one. Remember, that's the one where more people present, the less likely somebody's going to help. Kitty Genovese, the famous New York one, which now things say it really didn't happen that way, but it's still classic in all the Gen Psych textbooks. Kitty was being stabbed and people heard it. People went to the window and looked. He left. No one did anything. He came back. I think it was like 30 minutes later, started in again, found her. She had crawled to a stairwell. People opened the door and saw it. Nobody did anything because they thought somebody else would do it. Again, I would like to think that that's not me. So as you're watching these videos, reading the textbook, think about really how would you react? What would you be doing? Some concepts I really want you to pay attention to. And you know, I wish we were in the classroom to have these conversations. Individuality versus conformity. Now, my mom was always big on we don't conform, even though I was taught to be very obedient. But with that, I say the conformity is what led me to have a very successful military career because I'm a good follower. I'm good at doing what I'm told. I'm not a rule breaker. But yet, I love the individuality too. And then I thought this one was really deviant, really interesting and makes us think about being deviant or a team player. Because again, so many occupations, so many jobs require us to be a team player. But how much of being a team player do you go along with, whether you're a psychologist in a locked mental facility, you look at some of these horrors that have happened in the insane asylums. You think back to Katrina when people abandoned the patients in the nursing homes and hospitals. We saw it again with Houston and some of the, not so much Houston, but the other area. There was another area, I can't think off the top of my head what it was, where there was flooding in a nursing home. People abandoned, and the two, I think it was a janitor and a cook, stayed to take care of everybody. So again, team player, deviant, individuality, conformity. Take some time to really think about those things. And then there's a section in the text on factors that increase or decrease your conformity, or the chances that you'll conform. Take a look at that. I know many of you are parents. Think about if any of these topics, anything we go over in this first chapter, and as we continue, will maybe alter how you parent. Because they may. We're never too old. I'll be 55 this year. That's my big thing. 55. I'll be 55. That's like a big milestone for me. So I'm thinking, you know, even I'm still young enough. My grandma lived to 101, so I got a lot more living to do. But even I'm old or young enough to still change. I'm still old, you know, open enough. I don't want to say old. Open enough to know I need to change with the flow. You know, it's amazing how many, you know, I know college instructors that don't like the online. They don't like doing videos. They don't like, they're appalled that I give my cell phone number to students to text me to stay in touch. I just say it works for me, works for my students. One more way we can all reach out and touch each other. You have to stay flexible. You have to be open-minded. We're such a mobile society that when we go back up here and we look at our social influences and how we developed our value set, sometimes you have to be honest enough with yourself and say, my family's maybe not setting me up for success. I need to design my own theory of mind, theory concepts that I'm going to follow. I really wish we were in class to have these discussions tonight. Okay, some videos. Now I know I had planned that it would be the first night. You wouldn't have, many of you would not have books yet. And now with the weather, it's probably even more so. There's a short video on groupthink. It's a great one to watch. Even if you don't have a book yet, you will be fine. Watch these videos. The group history of groupthink, it just will show these flash bulbs of different events in history. See how many you remember. See how many you question whether it really was groupthink. I mean, even the Challenger. It's amazing, and I enjoy reading again in the book about it more. How they just, and again, what would you do if you were the leader, having to meet these deadlines, budgets, big decisions to make? So enjoy this video. Again, it's just a couple minutes. Conformity, again, it's a classic. You've probably watched it in a Gen Psych, another one. Couple-minute video. Bystander effect, no one cares. This one I've shown before in classes. It will make you think. It's more present day. A couple years ago, I remember it in the news. A gentleman stepped in to help somebody who was being robbed, and he ended up getting stabbed and died in the street. People walk by, they take cell phone pictures of him, lift him up and see the blood, and no one does anything. Think about what you would do. I would probably be afraid it's a hoax, and I would get snagged or robbed or something. Okay, we lost our document. Let me pull it back up. If anybody knows how to get rid of this problem with Word, let me know, because I find it very distracting. All right, let me bring this back up. So that's the video on the bystander effect. Now, Jonestown, The Life and Death of People's Temple, 2006. I'm going to tell you right now, it is a very lengthy video. It's about an hour, not quite an hour and a half. And again, I thought we would watch it in class, but I encourage you to really watch it. I've shown Jonestown videos in several classes, and this one is the most concise that I've found. Jonestown Massacre this is an interview with Stephen Jones, Jim Jones's son. It was taken several years, I want to say maybe even a couple of decades after Jonestown. I don't remember the exact date. This one I show all my Gen Psych. And I notice Jonestown keeps coming up now in the textbooks. It's replacing some of the other things. And I think it's because it is considered one of the largest scale conformity gone bad, I guess is how to say it, where the most people died because of following this charismatic, I can't say the word, charismatic leader, Jim Jones. But this lengthy video takes you from the beginning, and then this one with his son gives you an interesting perspective. And as you watch this one with his son, pay attention to some of his word choices. He's asked if they ever thought about killing his dad, him and his brother, and they said yes all the time. And then I think the interviewer asked him something about, again, killing. There's something, I can't remember off the top of my head what it was, but his reply is not yet. And it just leaves you wondering, like, what? And he talks about, he says the apple does not fall from the tree. He is very charismatic. He learned it from his father. Is that a conformity? Is it a learned behavior? Is it obedience in place? Just things he picked up to survive? Remember, obedience is sometimes a survival. We look at women who, and not just women, but men who are in violent partnerships, domestic violence. A lot of times it's survival. You know, we'd all love to say we would get out, but often when you're working closely with these women or men, I've worked with them, I know them. I've often said, if you're a domestic violence survivor, you've got that sixth sense. You can see somebody and pick it up immediately. I can pick it up in any woman, and they'll be like, and I'll be like, what's going on? And they'll be like, nothing. And I'm like, yeah, there is. What happened? And then they'll say, how'd you know? I said, I just have that sixth sense. I know. I can feel it. I can sense it. But people don't leave until they're ready. Sometimes they can't. They're not financially. Sometimes they have children. They try. And sometimes it's that noise of that inner voice of, you made your bed, now lie in it, due to religious beliefs, how they were raised on marriage, divorce is you're gonna go to hell, whatever. So again, when you look at these key terms, some of these key concepts, think about how culture, how someone's raised, religion, job, self-esteem, all those things impact whether you get led down that path of yikes. I really encourage you to watch these videos. They are, again, we would be watching them in class. We're here for 4 hours, so I hope you watch them. Jonestown is one that we need to really remember. And again, it's one of those, I wish we were in the class, because I'd say, what point do you think they realized they were sucked into something bad? And did they? Did they? All right, we're just going to close out. And did they know at what point? And could they not? Because remember, with Jonestown, many of these people gave up everything. It was their families that petitioned Congressman Ryan to go over there. So, okay, this video is getting lengthy, and you're probably going, snow day, I want to play. All right. Let me just pop this up one more time for you so we can look at the writing assignment. Again, this is writing intensive. If we were in the classroom, I would have this writing assignment, so we're going to do it. You can just upload it as a file. It won't be, there's not going to be a discussion this week. Where the videos are long enough, I want your thoughts to come through on this writing assignment. It is a minimum of 750 words. It is an essay. So I'm not looking for 2 answers, you know, like question 1, writing, question 2, right? I'm looking for an essay where you incorporate the question in the answer. You make it flow. Again, this is just to practice writing. I'm not grading on APA. I will be looking at sentence structure. Since you're going to be doing this online, of course, you have the ability to type. Now, if you're somewhere and you absolutely say, I don't have a computer, I don't have internet, I can't type, I don't have a keyboard, send me an email, we'll discuss turning it in handwritten. If we were in class, this would be something that you would handwrite, and you would be not have as much. I wouldn't have the word count as high because we would be doing a lot of discussing, but since we are doing the online now, I have put a minimum of 750 words. So, based on your textbook readings and the videos, write a short essay answering the below questions. Name at least 3 methods Jim Jones used to ensure his followers obeyed him. And what method did members use to resolve cognitive dissonance? Now, cognitive dissonance is not a term in the chapters you're reading, but the definition is in the back of the book, and it's one you've had, I know, in all your psychology courses up to now. Cognitive dissonance, as a refresher, is when you know what's right and wrong, but you're going against the grain. An example, I guess, would be, trying to think. Military ball season. Women go out and buy ball gowns, ball shoes, a purse, handbag, wear it to the ball, return it the next day, saying they never wore it. My daughter's experiences in retail says you can smell the smoke all over it. But for the honest person, they may have that internal voice going, no, no, don't do it. And their friends saying, yes, 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 we always do it. It saves money. And your internal gut. But you have cognitive dissonance. How do you make it? Okay, if you're going to return the ball gown and the purse and the shoes, and your voice is saying, no, this is wrong, how do you resolve that internal conflict? Everybody does it. My friends all do it. It's okay. They know. It's built into their budget that things get returned. They'll resell it to someone else. Something, something. So how do you resolve that internal conflict going on? So how did members who joined Jonestown, they're following him, they gave up everything, and all of a sudden they realized, this guy's lost his mind. How do they resolve that? Nope, he is God. He is the one. We are following him. How did they squash that? Again, use some key terms. I'm looking for key terms. That's why I gave you the term list. And again, if you don't have a book, you have old textbooks, I'm sure, lying around with all these key terms still in it. You have access to the internet to look up the key terms. Don't try to get over on me. Lastly, I have set up a YouTube channel specifically for this class. I will share the link on that also. That way you can, as we continue with the online, you know I like to share videos. They're a good supplement, especially if not everybody likes to read and learn. Some people are more auditory. And again, that's the beauty of the hybrid. We can learn. You can learn. I'm always learning. I'm always relearning stuff. I found the Jonestown. I spent, gosh, I'm embarrassed to admit, an entire Sunday afternoon watching Jonestown videos, deciding which one I wanted you to watch in preparation. So again, I hope you watch these videos. Focus, oh, that thing. focus on these concepts, and the discussion question, or the writing essay, I'm sorry, not a discussion question. The essay is due Saturday at the end of the night. This system, the Jenzabar set up for 11:55. That's why it's 11:55. Week 2 will open tomorrow. Let me grab my binder. Week 2 will be chapter 3, and then I have assigned videos, and that will be due January 20th. Because, again, the class is actually the 16th, so I have it end at the end of the week, which is the 20th, that Saturday. But I open it up early to give you the extra time. I know many of you are working, many of you have children. We've got a long weekend coming up for Martin Luther King holiday. So I try to give you time to really read, because the hybrid is a little bit harder. You're not just showing up to class to hear me talk or show videos. You have to read and discuss, and that takes time. And because we're a 4-hour class, and what is it? An average of every hour you're in class, you should spend 3 hours reading or preparing for each hour. So that's a lot of time that's expected. So we're fast-paced, 8 weeks. If you need me, 910-539-2810. It's fastest way, a text message. I know some of you, I'm looking forward to seeing some of you and catching up on what you've been doing since last spring when we had classes together. If you've got and I never remember the correct term, if you've got a letter that I need for testing modifications, that type of thing, make sure I have it. I think I only have 1, and I'm thinking there should be 2, if not 3. And I'm not going to name names because that would not be appropriate. You know, if you need, if you have by law the modifications for testing, extra time, that type of thing. I need it every time. Just because I had it a year ago, I need a new one. So get me those. And I guess that's it. You're probably like, why does she talk so much? Because I just love this topic. And it's a great, we're going to have so much fun. This is one I almost wish was not hybrid, but I do think with the online discussion, it does give everyone a fair opportunity to self-reflect on the topics and write and share their thoughts. Where sometimes in the classroom, some people don't share, but they have beautiful thoughts going on in their brain, and they never share them, and now they get to. And we get to learn from each other, because again, I'm always learning too. And the minute we stop learning, oh, we're dead. We need to just give up on life. So be safe. Don't go anywhere if you don't have to. Hopefully it'll all be melting. I will see you in week 3, but again, you can expect another video from me for next week at some point. So everybody have an amazing day, amazing night, and enjoy the videos. And please, I really hope that you will watch these videos, even though this one is very lengthy. Again, think of it as if we were in class using the class time. This one is fabulous. It is very eye-opening. You learn things that aren't in other videos. Plus, he's older and, able to process things and share. So I guess I'll shush for now. Have a great day, great Tuesday, and I will see you over in the course room. I look forward to reading your essays and your responses. So have a great week. Bye-bye.